This one Facebook ad product testing hack completely changed the game for my dropshipping business. So let me tell you a story and explain it to you. So a couple years ago, I decided to test this product. It's an acupressure mat. I saw it on AdSpy, I thought it looked pretty cool, so I just threw it on my general store and I started to run ads for it. The first day itself, we had 10 sales at like a 5 ROAS. The second day as well, it was a very good ROAS. And the third day, it was just consistently producing good results for us. So obviously, seeing these insane results for this product, I decided to build a one product store just advertising this product, because the other one was a general store, so obviously the conversion rate would be lower and it's not very optimized. So now I go ahead and try to relaunch the original campaign I had running to the general store, but now to the new one product store. And obviously, I'm under the impression that the ROAS on the new campaign would be significantly higher than the ROAS on the old campaign, because the site is much more optimized, so the conversion rates would be higher and the ROAS would also increase. So I go ahead and launch the exact same campaign, and guess what happens? It completely tanks. You can see we spent a couple £100 on ads and it only got one purchase at a 0.36 ROAS, which is terrible compared to what it used to be getting at over a 5 ROAS. But I was patient with it. I decided to leave it for a few days. I was like, fine, we'll wait 2 or 3 days, see what happens. But after those days passed, again, the performance was just very, very poor. And this was just making no sense to me, because I duplicated the exact same campaign from the general store to the new one product store. No changes whatsoever. For some reason, it just wasn't converting at all. And at the same time, I had also left the original campaign on, running at a low budget, and that was still working. So why is the new campaign not working? So I do some digging and I asked some friends, what's going on, and they gave me a few suggestions. One of the suggestions was try duplicating the campaign that I created for the new one product store multiple times and see what happens. And now obviously, logically, this makes no sense to me, because either a campaign works or it doesn't work. What's the point in duplicating it multiple times if it's just the exact same campaign? But anyway, I just went ahead and did it. I duplicated that exact same new campaign 5 more times inside the ad account. At the exact same budget, I let it run for a day, no changes whatsoever. And weirdly enough, the very next day when I go ahead and check up on the campaigns, I can see that 2 of them have taken off and they've got over a 5 ROAS. One of them is kind of breaking even, and the other 2 are completely tanked. They haven't even got a 1 ROAS. So basically, I had 6 campaigns total. 2 of them were working very well. They had over a 5 ROAS. 3 of them had completely failed, and 1 of them is breaking even. And basically, ever since that day, I decided I wasn't going to use logic when it comes to how to run my Facebook ads. Unconventional media buying strategies actually work. I don't know why. I don't try to figure out why. I just go with it. So if it's working, I just continue doing it. So in this case, whenever I create a new Facebook ad campaign to test a product, I always make sure I duplicate it multiple times. Even if it's the exact same campaign, no changes whatsoever, I duplicate it multiple times just to make sure that the product is actually a bad product, or is it just the randomness of this particular campaign not working, which is the reason why the product isn't converting. So I make sure to have at least 3 duplicates of a campaign whenever I test a product, because chances are one of those campaigns might actually take off. And maybe a product that you personally missed out on in the past starts performing really well for me, even though I didn't do anything different from you, just because of the randomness of Facebook. Sometimes even I try to test products on multiple different ad accounts, because one ad account performs differently to another ad account. Facebook is completely random. You can't really ask or find out why it's like that, but that's just how the algorithm works. So I highly recommend you, next time you do try testing out the product, don't just create one campaign and a few ad sets for it. Duplicate that same campaign multiple times. Ideally put it in 2 different ad accounts and just see how big the difference will be, even though there's no reason for it being so drastically different. And I have another example of a friend who tested a product that wasn't working for him, and he told me about it, and I randomly went ahead and tested the exact same product. But because I created multiple duplicates, some of these duplicates were actually working. Obviously, I turned off the ones that weren't working and just kept on scaling the ones that were working. So hopefully that's helpful. Next time you do test a product on Facebook, make sure to duplicate the campaigns multiple times and just see how big of a difference that actually makes.